Hey everyone, welcome back. Dave in History for the Ages here. So something kind of fun, a bit nostalgic, right? Things that historically were around that are no longer with us, but we miss, right? I think everyone's probably thinking, oh, there's something I wish I would have when I was younger or something that's no longer here. And I'd love to hear in the comments what you think, right? I picked five, and they're in no particular order, but I think just five things that a lot of people, especially my generation or even older generations or younger generations, would miss. So one, I mean, to me is just basic handwritten letters. I still remember, as a kid getting letters in the mail, and it was always exciting and fun. And you think of it from a historical standpoint, it really did matter. One of the things I want to do in this video is not just bring up things, but how it connects a little bit with history. Because if you think about World War II, I just kind of saw a movie recently, the 6888. If you've never seen it, it's a pretty cool movie. And it's about a group of women who were working together to get mail delivered to the soldiers during World War II and how that helped inspire them. And it's based on a real story. And so, getting these letters actually had meaning. It was something you could hold in your hand, very different than just reading an email. So I think that for a lot of people is something people miss. And I know some people still do this today. They still write handwritten letters. I have a 7-year-old, and she loves it when her aunt sends her little letters all the time in the mail. It gets her really excited. So I think that's something that a lot of us miss. Number four, just paper maps, right? We all get in our car and we got it all on, our map, Google Maps and all of that. But historically, again, I mean, think of the early explorers. If you see like any older maps and, Lewis and Clark and all of these maps that we had in the past that they had to use to get from point A to point B. Maps, how they were used for military strategy, right? I mean, I think that's a very important part of using maps historically as well. I also think, for me personally, again, maybe it's just old school. I still keep a set of these old folded up maps you see here, those little AAA maps in my car, because you never know where you're going to be. There's going to be no service, no nothing, and you're going to need to get from point A to point B. And this would be a great challenge for parents. Give them a map, give your kids, like teenagers even, a map, and see if they know how to use a map, right? It'd be kind of interesting. I think some people wouldn't know how to get to point A to point B without all our new technology. So I think that's kind of another one. Number three, this is one that probably a lot of people popped in their mind when they first thought of this, I hope. Drive-in theaters, right? Drive-in movie theaters. Again, from historical standpoint, this was the 1950s and 60s, the car culture, post-war entertainment, just a place for people to gather, enjoy, have a good time. And I still remember in the 1980s, there was a couple of them here and there. Obviously, the heyday of these were in the 50s and 60s, before my time. But today, I don't even know where there's a drive-in movie theater. So I think that's definitely something in the past that a lot of people wish they bring back. I don't ever see ever that. Just think of the cost of real estate and the amount of room it takes to get that many people to see a movie versus a movie theater, right? So I don't think those are coming back likely, but it's something really, really cool. Cameras, old cameras, all of this, and connected with that, photo albums. I kind of put this together because there was something neat about taking pictures, knowing every picture you took. Oh man, if it didn't turn out good, that's not right. Today we take like a million pictures, and if like 20 of them don't turn out well, who cares, right? But back then, every picture mattered, and you'd have to take it, get it developed, and then put it in a photo album. And I think there's something really cool. Today, I think we just kind of put it on our computers or whatever. And ironically, maybe we don't even see the old ones as much. As opposed to a photo album, which is there on the coffee table and people flip through it and see it. So I think there's almost a bit of an irony that with all of these pictures we're all taking, do families really gather around and see them as much? Maybe some do, maybe some don't. A lot of people probably just do it on the computer or whatever today, but I think there's something to that. And again, from a historical standpoint, I mean, photography, think of how much that changed our study of history. You look at, things like Civil War, and before the Civil War, you see images of all of the Civil War figures, and modern times when we start to have photography, it really brings to life so much of the history that we're familiar with. So from that perspective, I think it's pretty cool as well. And then my last one is physical encyclopedias. And this is actually a picture. I still have my old World Book set. And again, I think this is a bit ironic because today, in a time when we have so much information on the internet and you could check everything, these documents, these World Book encyclopedias and so forth, were probably more trusted than things we have today on the internet, because you go on the internet, is it right, is it not, you have to fact check everything a million times. And here you'd open up this book and there's just all this great knowledge right there. And this is something that I really think families should still have in their house, something like that. And I still have my old one. I'm glad I never got rid of it. This dates back to the 1980s. All right, so anyways, those are 5 things. I'd love your thoughts. Leave some other ideas in there. What do you think of this video? Just something fun, sweet. I thought people might enjoy. A little different than some of the big political wars and battles and stuff that I cover. But a lot of things on my channel you can watch. So I hope you find a lot more to watch. Subscribe, like, leave comments. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.